So, good morning. This is Vedugopal for Little Hearts Publications with Social Studies, Book 4, Lesson 2, The Northern Plains. Children, do you remember in the previous lesson we talked about the different physical regions of our country? How India is divided into different physical regions. The Himadri are the greater Himalayas, the Shivaliks are the Himachal region. These are some of the physical regions we talked about. The Himalayas is the first one that we talked about. The Himadri are the greater Himalayas, the Himachal, and the Shivaliks are the different physical regions that we talked about in the previous lesson. The second one, or the second physical region or physical feature of our country is the northern plains. What do you mean by a plain? Do you know the meaning of a plain, children? What is the difference between a hill and a plain? You can see this is called a hill. When an area is flat like this, or the place where you are standing, where I am standing now, where we are living, most of the people, we do not live on the hills. We do live on the flat surfaces. This flat land is called a plain. As I said earlier, the upper part of a map always indicates north side, and we already discussed in the previous lesson that the Himalayas are located on the northern side of India. Okay, one of the three parts that the Himalayas are divided into is the Shivalik mountains, Shivalik mountain ranges. The lowermost part of the Himalayas. So, these northern plains, you can see there in the map given in your page number 12, lie to the south of the Shivalik mountain ranges. You can see that these are the Shivalik mountain ranges. To the south, you can see the northern plains. You can see that there in the map. They lie to the south of the Shivalik mountain ranges, and mainly we have to know that it is a very fertile region. What's the meaning of fertile region or a fertile land? Where crops grow in abundance. Fertile land is a land on which we can grow crops without much difficulty. We can grow crops in abundance, in large quantities. The northern plains range from Punjab. What is the range of the northern plains? From where they start and from where up to where they are spread. Let us see on the map of India. Punjab in the west to Assam in the east, these northern plains extend. From here to here, from western part of Punjab in the western side of the northern plains are the Shivalik ranges to Assam in the eastern parts. The northern plains extend. What are the now, earlier it was ASSAM, Assam, children. Now it is Assam. It is changed, its name is changed now. It is pronounced as ASOM, Assam. So, what are the states located in this particular region? Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Bihar, West Bengal and Assam are the states located in the northern plains. Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Bihar, West Bengal and Assam. So, why this land is fertile? Why the land in the northern plains is fertile, which is suitable for growing abundant of crops? What is the reason for that? The soil. What is called the soil? What is meaning of soil? The land or the uppermost layer of the earth's surface is known as soil. The soil in the northern plains is formed of the silt formed by or carried down by the rivers from the Himalayas. Silt means what? The sediment or that soft soil or earth that is deposited by water in a channel. So that is what is called silt. The soil in the northern plains is formed from the silt deposited by the rivers flowing from the Himalayas. That's the reason why the land here in the northern plains is very fertile. This kind of soil is called alluvial soil. Alluvial soil, a very fertile soil where you can grow crops. And most of the northern plains are fully of this alluvial soil only, which is formed of the silt carried down by the rivers originating from the Himalayas. Okay, children. The fertile soil and also the abundant rainfall. Not only that, there is an abundant rainfall in this region. Means heavy rainfall in this region. That makes these northern plains a very rich area in our country. The soil plus abundant rainfall. Abundant means large in quantity. It's a fertile soil and its abundant rainfall makes it the richest region in our country. So, northern side, the population of India is more in the northern side than in the southern side, and one of the reasons is this. The soil is very fertile in the northern plains and there is abundant rainfall. So, the northern plains can be divided mainly into three basins. What do you mean by a basin? What do you mean by basin? You can see that there, basin is an area which gets watered by a river and its tributaries. A basin is an area which gets watered by a river and its tributaries. What are called tributaries? The small streams of water which get separated from the main rivers, because there is a hill on the way, because of which the water flows in two different directions. From the main river, a part of the line or stream gets separated and flows as another river. That is called a tributary. That is divided from the main river and flows as another river. So these northern plains are divided into three basins. Basin means an area which gets watered, which is watered by a river and its tributaries. What are the three basins? The Sutlej basin, the Ganga basin and the Brahmaputra basin. These are the three basins the northern plains are divided into. Let us see each of those plains, what is the importance and what are the other things that we find there. The Sutlej basin, along with its tributaries, the Beas, flows towards the southwest to join the Indus rivers in Pakistan. Satluj Basin, the main river in this basin is Satluj River. Along with its tributary, the Beas. What is the tributary of Satluj River? Beas. The Beas River flows towards the southwest. Southwest means the point where the south and west directions join, that is called southwest direction, to join the Indus River. Indus River, where is it located? In Pakistan. This entire river basin is very fertile. This entire river basin of Satluj is very fertile. Wheat, rice, cotton and sugarcane are the main crops grown in this Satluj basin. Satluj basin's tributary is Beas. They flow together to the southwest, and in this Satluj basin is very fertile. You can find wheat, rice, cotton and sugarcane grown plenty in this region, in this basin. Bhakra Nangal Dam, you might have heard this name, the largest dam in India. The Bhakra Nangal Dam is built on the Satluj River only. It is the largest in India. Its waters irrigate the northern plains and are also used to produce electricity. The river water of the Satluj, across which the Bhakra Nangal Dam was built, the dam's river waters are the river waters stored in this dam waters large areas of northern plains, allowing the northern plains to grow a lot varieties of crops. Not only that, these waters are also used for producing electricity. What is the electricity produced from water? It is called hydel electricity. Hydel power it is called. The water produced from, the electricity produced from water is called hydel electricity. This is the first basin. The second one is the Ganga basin. What is the Ganga basin? Consists of the Ganga basin is the most important the Ganga, the Ganges, it is also known as the Ganges, or the Ganga. It's the most sacred river in India. People consider it as the most sacred river in India. This river originates in Gangotri in the Himalayas. Means in the Himalayan regions it takes birth in a region or in a place called Gangotri and flows down. During its downward journey, the Ganga joins with the rivers Bhagirathi, Mandakini, Alaknanda and many other rivers before entering the northern plains. While it starts flowing down the Himalayas from Gangotri, the Ganges joins with the rivers Mandakini, Bhagirathi, Alaknanda and many other rivers, and finally enter the northern plains at Haridwar. It joins the other seas, other rivers, and finally reach the northern plains, which start at the Haridwar, and it meets there at the Haridwar. The river Yamuna joins the Ganga there. Here only at the place Haridwar, the river Yamuna joins the Ganga at Allahabad. Allahabad region in Uttar Pradesh, where the river Yamuna joins the Ganga and both flow as a single river. The joining place of the Ganga and the Yamuna rivers is known as Sangam. The joining place of these two rivers, two major rivers, the Ganga and the Yamuna. As the Ganga flows through the east, many rivers such as Gandak, Gomati, Ghagara and Kosi join it. Now, as we said earlier, the Ganga starts flowing towards the east. As it starts flowing towards the east, many other rivers like Gandak, Gomati, Ghagara and Kosi join that. The Ganga river flows through the states of Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Bihar and West Bengal. What are the four states that the Ganga or the Ganges flows through, children? Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Bihar and West Bengal. Through these states it passes, it flows, And as it reaches West Bengal, here in the West Bengal is located at the eastern region of our country. As it reaches West Bengal, the flow of the Ganga slows down. The speed of the flow of the river Ganges slows down, becomes slow when it reaches the West Bengal region. So finally, the Brahmaputra basin, the last basin. The Brahmaputra is the second longest river in India after the Ganges, the Ganga. Okay. This Brahmaputra river originates in Manasarovar in the Himalayan region. Just like all the rivers in India, like the Ganga, the Brahmaputra, all of them originate in the Himalayas. Ganga originates from the Gangotri, whereas Brahmaputra originates at Manasarovar in the Himalayas and flows through Tibet. Tibet is a small area of land ruled by China before entering the Assam Valley. Assam is one of the states in the northeastern side of our country. Northeastern state, one of the northeastern state of our country, Assam. And finally, after passing through Tibet, the Brahmaputra river reaches Assam Valley. Then it turns towards the south and enters Bangladesh. After reaching there, it turns towards the south direction and reaches Bangladesh, another country, and joins one of the tributaries of the Ganga named the Padma. This river joins one of the tributaries of the Ganga river. The tributary of the tributary's name is the Padma. The Ganga and the Brahmaputra rivers together make the largest delta in the world. So, these two rivers, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, what is meaning of delta? We may get a doubt now. What is meaning of a delta? What is called a delta? It is given there, is a triangular shaped area. Delta is a triangular shaped area at the mouth of a river. A delta. See, for example, a river is flowing like this. It is the mouth. Here itself, there is a triangle shaped area. This particular area, which is at the mouth of the river, a triangular shaped area, this is called a delta. So, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra form the largest delta in the world. The branches of the river flows across it before joining the sea. So, these all the branches of the rivers, means the tributaries of the river flows across it before joining the sea. So, all the rivers are the branches of the rivers flow through this particular delta, and finally from this delta they join the sea. This delta area is popularly known as, now this, which delta area? The delta area formed at the joining or at the mouth of the joining of the rivers Ganga and Brahmaputra is known as Sundarbans. Sundarban. In West Bengal it is located. Sundarban means Sundarvan, Sundarvanam. Sundarbans means beautiful forest in Bengali. What is the meaning of Sundarbans in Bengali? It's a beautiful garden, forest. Ban means forest. Many big and important cities are located in the northern plains, including our capital city, national capital city, Delhi, Lucknow. Many other big cities, important cities are located in the northern plains. Because of that richness of that land, because of the rapid industrialization. Means very quickly industries have developed there in those regions. Many factories have come up along the banks of various rivers over the years. Many factories, many industries have been set up along the banks of various rivers, but unfortunately what is happening there, the waste or chemicals or other waste released from various factories which are located there on the banks of different rivers are polluting the river waters, which is causing a serious concern among the conservationists. At the beginning also we talked about conservationists. Who are called conservationists? Conservationists are the people who fight for environmental protection. Conservationists are the people who try to conserve or protect earth from pollution, different types of pollution. Okay, children, with that we come to the end of this lesson. The key for the questions and other exercises will be sent to you through WhatsApp. Thank you.